Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode in the Aqeedah series, lesson 9. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Wa ba'd. So we continue Shaykh Ahmad al-Marzuqi's poem on Aqeedah in Aqeedatul Awam, Matters of Belief, and the Masih's Creed, as the title is. And we go on to the last section now, which is the final attributes relating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which then we will complete ilahiyat, which is all the matters relating to God, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before we go on to an-nubuwat in the next episode, which is prophethood, and then further on to as-sam'iyat, which is the matters of the unseen that we have to have belief in. So continuing with the poem by Shaykh Ahmad al-Marzuqi, فَقُدْرَةٌ إِرَادَةٌ سَمْعٌ بَصَرٌ حَيَاةُ الْعِلْمُ كَلَامٌ إِسْتَمِرٌ. So we saw Sifatul Ma'ani, which is the meaningful attributes. There were 7. So these are now 7, which is a requirement from that attribute. These are pertaining attributes to those meaningful attributes. So these are Sifatul Ma'anawiyya. From Sifatul Ma'ani, Sifatul Ma'anawiyya. فَقُدْرَةٌ. So we saw power. So if Allah has, God has power, God is obligatory for Him to have power. He is powerful. That's simply what it means. If He has will, He is willing. If He is hearing, He's all hearing. If He has sight, He's all seeing. If He has life, He is living. If He has knowledge, He is knowledgeable. If He has speech, He speaks. And finally it says istamir. So Allah's speech is a continuous speech. It's not like ours. We speak and then we stop. And we have a cutoff. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not got this kind of cutoff. He was there, and He is, and He will always be there. Time is not. You do not restrict and limit Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to time and space. So just His speech as well. How is it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. All His attributes, how they are, Allah knows best. We only go to a certain degree where we know, which is a very minute degree, where we know about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just to also get about knowing Allah from what He has told us, from what the Prophet ﷺ has relayed to us, but then also increasing that in obedience. The whole purpose of this is also to be obedient to this Creator who has created us. We know His attributes, we can have the more of a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these 7 is just related to the previous meaningful attributes, and it's just that it's later in intermediate text, in advanced text, it goes into more detail, because there's those like the Mu'tazilites who don't have belief in these. So this is just to give that a little bit of detail that will give in advanced text. That detail comes, and that debate and that discussion and discourse that happens. But for now, it's just to know that these 7 attributes that we've seen, along with the previous 7 attributes, that's 14 attributes, with the 5 salbiya attributes, the negating attributes, now that comes to 19. And then finally the sifat and nafsiyah, which was the essential attribute, and God exists. That was the one attribute. That makes 20. You do the opposites, all of them. So we've said if Allah has power, He's not one who is unable to do things. He hasn't got the attribute of inability, or He's compelled, so He has will, He can do as He wants, so He's not compelled, there's no compulsion. He's not deaf, He's not blind, He's not dead, He's not ignorant, and He is not mute or dumb. So that's from these 20 attributes. It's got 40 opposite attributes. So that's 20 opposing attributes. So if these are obligatory attributes and necessary for a God to have, so then the impossible attribute is that it's impossible for a God to not have power, to not have a will, to not be able to hear, not be able to have to see. So those all make 40. And then now in the next line we go to the last attribute, which is not an obligatory attribute, it's of possibility. It's an attribute that is Allah is able to do or not do. It is His will, as He decides. وَجَائِزٌ بِفَضْلِهِ وَعَدْلِهِ تَرْكٌ لِكُلِّ مُمْكِنٍ كَفِعْلِهِ. It is possible with His grace and justice to leave out as well as do all possibilities. So one example is of non-Muslims. They have problem believing in a God because they say, how can there be injustice in the world? If there is a God, how can there be injustice? As if to apply wrongfully the attribute that is an obligatory attribute to that part where it saying literally meaning God must serve justice. God has to keep justice in the world. It is obligatory for God to keep justice, and that is not the case. If He wants, there is justice in the place. If He wants, there is no justice in the place. So this is that possibilities, the realm of possibilities. وَجَائِزٌ بِفَضْلِهِ. So it's possible by His grace. So by His grace, an example, if He wants, He rewards the obedient person. وَعَدْلِهِ. And He serves justice. He takes into account the disobedient or the non-Muslim, the one who disbelieves in God. He serves justice to that person, takes him into account and punishes him. His choice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides as He wants. So, can Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give His fadl, His bounties and blessings to a non-Muslim? Indeed, He can. There are non-Muslims who have risk, who have no health issues, who are financially well off, they have a house and a car and children, and that's bounties from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah can, by His justice, He can also, for a non-Muslim, take him to account, go through these books and so on and so forth. So Allah is able to do as He wants, how He wants. تَرْكٌ لِكُلِّ مُمْكِنٍ كَفِعْلِهِ. So He can leave out things and He can do things. So He can create or not create, as it comes in the Quran. وَرَبُّكَ يَخْلُقُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيَخْتَارُ. And your Lord creates whatsoever He wills, and He chooses what He wants to create or what He does not want to create. So and we have no say in that, absolutely. لَا يُسْأَلْ عَمَّا يَفْعَلْ وَهُمْ يُسْأَلُونَ. He cannot be questioned about what He does, where they will be questioned. So we, the creation, will be questioned at the Day of Judgment. It will be questioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the things we did. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is not questioned about what He did, what He created, what He did not create, who He gave risk to, who He did not give risk to, all these things. As it comes in the ayah, قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ مَالِكَ الْمُلْكِ تُؤْتِي الْمُلْكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتَنْزِعُ الْمُلْكَ مِمَّنْ تَشَاءُ وتعز من تشاء وتذل من تشاء بيدك الخير إنك على كل شيء قدير تولج الليل في النهار وتولج النهار في الليل وتخرج الحي من الميت وتخرج الميت من الحي وترزق من تشاء بغير حساب. So in here, Allah is the one who is able to do all things. These are examples. He can give, He can create, or He can not create. He can give His sovereign to anyone, who can make anybody a king, a ruler, or a queen, and He can take it away. He can give honor, or He can debase and humiliate. He can bring the night into the day and the day into the night. He can give risk to whosoever He wants and sustenance, and whosoever He doesn't want. So this is all in that realm of possibility. And there's a place for where God has attributes that are obligatory. He has to have those. And there's another attribute here, which is just that one, that possibility. Whatever He decides to do, He can do. He wants to create, He can. He wants to not create, He doesn't have to. He does not have to take all of us to Jannah. He does not have to guide everyone. It's not obligatory on Him to guide everyone. It's His choice and who He's left to go astray and who He has guided. So this is that realm of possibility. And so that ends then the Ilahiyah, this first section. And so this is a poem by Shaykh Ahmed al-Marzuqi. He would read this poem and commentate on this poem while riding these donkeys. At the time that there was donkeys were the taxis that they would rent out donkeys to go to places wherever they wanted to. And as he was on this donkey, he would constantly go through this poem and read it as if he was teaching the donkeys. and it's like as if they memorized it. And this poetry is on this, it's a fast kind of based poetry, as it calls, as it is rajas. It's that kind of in poetry, that kind of scale, that it's a fast scale, and the donkey is like that, and they would go faster and faster, and with this poem being read, they would be attuned to it, as if they're students of this really hard knowledge, which is to do with matters of the heart. It's a very important subject matter. So as if he was teaching them, and they were going with this. So this is a poem by Sheikh Ahmed al-Marzuki, as he would go to Azhar al-Sharif to teach as well, and on his way he'll be going through all this poem, and he made this as it was came in the dream. The Prophet ﷺ had instructed him, and began the first line to write this poem. And as it goes as well, that whosoever memorizes this poem is guaranteed Jannah. So it's not a belief that we need to have that oh yeah, that if someone memorizes, that's it, they're going to get Jannah. It's to say that if you memorize this poem, you are not negligent with your deen. You are this important matter of Aqeedah, of beliefs. You are giving it its right. You are making sure you know it. You are memorizing it. You know it's in you, and hopefully that means also you have understood it, and you're attaching that importance to that. This deen, this matters of belief, this subject matter. Why would that person not go to Jannah? If he's taking so much care that he needs to have his beliefs right, and he's understanding this text and memorizing it, that kind of person would go to Jannah. It's kind of like the logic that if you kind of go on that path, that leads to Jannah. So these are the things as well, that if you memorize such a thing, or if you were to memorize the Quran, subhanAllah, that should be the biggest thing, that if you memorize the Quran, you go to Jannah. It's not the case that you memorize and you go to Jannah. But alhamdulillah, we believe that if someone wants to memorize the Quran, why would they not go to Jannah? It's one of the things that raises their ranks in Jannah. And a person who memorizes the Quran, you think they are Muslims, they are the ones who believe in that deen and everything that the Quran says, as well as acting upon it as well. So that is some things as well said, that who memorize this poem is guaranteed Jannah. And so we take it from that kind of viewpoint. And inshallah, from the next lesson we go on to Nubuwwah, the prophets. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if I ask the question, okay, what is after death? What would you answer? How do we know? What is after death? And the question and the answer is, well, we know what is after death only because of the prophets. So it's the prophets who brought that knowledge beyond the unseen, beyond the grave, as that's something that could not be answered by the intellect alone. So that's why we need that prophets who are those guides and shining lights and shining stars who were to guide us. So that's why the need of prophets, and that's what will come in, and seeing what their attributes are, as they are that vital link to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you need to have known it through prophets. So they're the best of man, and inshallah, they're men, but they're not like us common men. They are a different grade, a different rank, and inshallah we'll see them more and understand them more in detail next time. Wa sallallahu Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barak.